Um, oh, where's my calendar? January the 23rd.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And Officer Melton, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I have Miss Palmer. She's right now she's being interviewed by Attorney Cook. Oh, he's ready? And I don't know the position number,
Yeah,
but
I think we're finished. Yeah,
come on,
I'm ready.
come on, Miss Palmer. And yes, and I'm ready. It's just one I have.
She's
Okay.
Okay.
This
Well, I
this
don't
is
see anybody
ACGC.
I don't see anyone in courtroom two, so let's go ahead.
Wow, we're the feature act today.
Let's see. Do we have make sure we have everyone from the state on, Mr. Walker.
Good morning or good afternoon, Your Honor.
Afternoon, Mr. Walker. Let's see. Good afternoon, Ms. Palmer. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Palmer, you've been charged in case 24 CR 000138E with theft by receiving stolen property. Afternoon, Ms. Hardy. Is there a history?
No, Your Honor, this defendant does not have any history to report at this time.
Yes. Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre Thomas.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Your Honor, brief facts of the case is that on January 5th, it was stated that Miss Palmer stated that she needed to get out of the cold, so she went inside. The officer observed an item being concealed under her clothing. Officers sounded for the item. One of the gentlemen that Miss Palmer was with ran from the scene, I guess, giving rise to suspicion. When they ultimately located, I guess, some cartons of cigarettes being concealed under her shirt. It was determined based on her answer that she did not know who gave it to her or did not know the person who gave it to her, that she knew or should have known that the items were stolen. The recommendation from the state, given the limited criminal history, is a signature bond through the jail, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons at this time, Your Honor.
Any objection to any of that, Mr. Cook?
No objection, Your Honor.
And if I could
Okay.
just add, stay away from that Family Dollar, which is located at 2925 Headland Drive in East Point in Fulton County, Georgia.
Okay.
No objection.
$1,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the Family Dollar on Headland Drive. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Palmer.
Thank you so much, Mr. Morrow.
You're welcome, ma'am. And let's see, courtroom two, whenever you get situated and ready to go, just let us know.
Hey, Judge, you know it's me and not Francois.
All right, I do, Norris. Good
How y'all
afternoon.
doing? I'm
Good.
doing this the best way I can, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Well, first, we're gonna have position number one. Yeah, no. Yeah, I can't, I'll try to pronounce it, I can't pronounce it.
Yes, good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Ms. Adavan, did you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you. You have been charged in case 24 CR 000122E with public drunk and obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has one arrest cycle in Georgia. Their last arrest was November 28th of 2020 out of Cumming, Georgia for DUI and endangering a child. The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 1. Nothing further to report.
Mr. Walker?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, the defendant was arrested at the Avalon Hotel located at 9000 Avalon Boulevard. Apparently, she was causing a scene while being drunk in the hotel lobby. She was asked to leave, which she refused. She also resisted arrest. The state is seeking a signature bond through pretrial services and to stay away from the incident location, which is 9000 Avalon Boulevard. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond.
Mr. Ty, good afternoon. Is this your case?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Mr. Ty, I'm going to send her through the jail if it's okay with you, given her history. It'll be $1,000 signature bond through the jail on each count, which makes it a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the Avalon Hotel and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Does that suit you, Mr. Ty?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you, Ms. Adavand. You're on mute, courtroom 2.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. We're gonna go to position number 4, Ms. Shirley Esther. My apologies.
Oh, no, you're fine. Thank you. Ms. Esther, good afternoon. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms.
Your
Esther,
Honor,
you've
Good
been
afternoon,
charged.
Your Honor.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Thank
I
you.
believe this was a dual arrest.
Oh, good afternoon, Ms. McLeod. Okay,
It
so
is
it's
with position 3, Your Honor.
so Miss Esther and Mr. Dixon. So if Mr. Dixon is in the I guess in the galley, we can take him next. Miss Esther, you were charged in case 24 CR 0000125Y with a fray and simple battery against a police officer. Is there a history?
This defendant has 7 arrest cycles in Georgia. Their last arrest was July 23rd of last year out of Fulton County for battery, family violence, and criminal trespass. They appear to be on probation for that case, and the number is 23 SC 187723. The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 3. Nothing further to report.
Yes, Sean. And law enforcement was dispatched to the Economy Hotel located at 9995 Old Dogwood Road due to a fight. Upon arriving at the scene, it was determined that this defendant was in a physical altercation with Mr. Dixon, who is position 3. Upon being detained by the officer, she did also strike the arresting officer. The state is asking for a signature bond through pretrial services, no contact with the cross defendant, Mr. Dixon. A stay away from that incident location, which is 9995 Old Dogwood Road. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond.
Ms. McLeod, is this your case?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Oh, Mr. Ty, go ahead. This is
yes.
your case, Mr. Ty?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. My client is a 37-year-old mother of 7 minor children, ages 1 through 17. She has been gainfully employed as a cook at the Cheesecake Factory for over a year, but she still qualifies for public defender services as she is the sole provider and caretaker of her 7 children. The warrant states that the 911 caller told the dispatcher that the complaining witness struck the client and another person on the scene had to help her up. She does deny the allegations in the warrant and states that the complaining witness yelled profanities at her and was the one who initiated the aggressor both verbally and physically.
Yes.
Sorry, I don't know what that. And I understand that she has some history, but that history stems from an abusive relationship that she recently got out of. Her housing is insecure since then. She's been renting at this Econo Lodge, so on a weekly basis, so that she and her 7 children don't end up homeless. She's recommended UJR 3, but I would ask, due to the allegations in the warrant, it reflects that she wasn't the first aggressor. That's what the 911 caller stated as well. So I would ask for a signature on bond through the jail so that she can get back to work and caring for her 7 children. And, her situation doesn't get worse from here.
Okay.
Nothing.
Thank you. For each charge, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial, which makes it a total of a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, 1-day anger awareness, stay away from the Econo Hotel on Old Dogwood Road. She can go back there on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that she might have there. No further contact with Mr. Dixon, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Miss Esther. And if Mr. Dixon, position 3 is in there, can we take that one next since it's a code?
Yes,
defendant?
Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Dixon. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Dixon, you've been charged in case 24 CR 0000121Y with a fray. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has a total of 57 arrest cycles in Georgia. There's 5 felony conviction outside the last 10-year period. Misdemeanor conviction in 2016 for stalking. Their last arrest was December the 23rd, 2018, out of DeKalb for possession of marijuana less than an ounce and public indecency. The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 3. Nothing further to report.
Anything further, Mr. Walker?
No, the same recommendation, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. McLeod?
Good afternoon,
Bishop
again, Your Honor. This is my case. My client is 53 years old. We are okay with the UJR, Your Honor. My client is disabled, so he may have a little difficulty with the reporting, but we are okay with the signature bond.
Okay, as such, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Miss Esther. Stay away from the Econo Hotel on Old Dogwood Road. He can go back to that location on one occasion if need be with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Dixon.
Thank you, Your Honor. And that concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, thank you, Ms. McLeod. We appreciate it as always. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, Your Honor. You too.
Thank you.
Next, I have position number 7, Ms. Jaleesa Head.
Good afternoon, Ms. Head. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Head, you've been charged in case 24CR000132C with battery family violence. Is there a history? Sorry.
This defendant has 14 arrest cycles in Georgia. A misdemeanor conviction in 2019 for battery family violence. Their last arrest was January 20th, 2023, out of Clayton County for battery and criminal trespass. The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 3. Nothing further to report.
Yes, Your Honor. And about that Clayton County DV case, that is a conviction, so this will end up being a felony, but that was the same victim in that case as well. But in this matter, law enforcement was dispatched to 1602 South Gordon, where they spoke to the victim, Mr. Willie Greer. He advised that he and the defendant lived together and they were having a disagreement, which became physical. She did scratch the victim in his face. We have made contact with him. He advised that they do have a DV history. He's okay with her returning to the residence. However, the state will be asking for a stay away and no contact due to that previous conviction where he is also the victim in that matter. But the state is seeking a $2,000 surety bond, no contact with the victim, Mr. Willie Greer, a stay away from the incident location, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And I'm not sure if Ms. Greer is on the line. Mr. Greer is on the line, but we will sound for him.
Mr. Greer is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so, Mr. Walker. Ms. Atai?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is a 30-year-old mother of 3 children, ages 14, 6, and 3. She is a graduate of Tri-Cities High School, has lived in Georgia all her life. She does deny the allegations in the warrant and states that the complaining witness was the first aggressor. She's gainfully employed at the Key, where she cares for elderly and disabled residents. The complaining, I was able to speak with the complaining witness, and he states that, you know, he is on good terms with my client, and he's stated that he's very appreciative of her care for his 90-year-old mother over the last several months while she's been living with him. My client does qualify for public defender services because of the children, although she is gainfully employed. She cannot afford a $2,000 surety bond. So I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial services.
16. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Ty, go ahead.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, the 1602 location, whose residence is that?
I think they reside together at that location, Your Honor.
Yes.
Okay, and they don't, none of the 14, 6, and the 3-year-old, those are not Mr. Greer's?
No, I stay with my mom in East Point. I just was there.
Okay. Oh, okay. So this isn't that 1602 location. That's not your location, Ms. Head. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. It's going to be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Mr. Greer, stay away from the 1602 incident location, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. So I'm going to let you out, Ms. Head, but you can't have any while this is pending. No further contact with Mr. Greer. You'll be in violation of this order. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the court, Your Honor.
You're welcome, Ms. Head. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 11, Ms. Lynn Lewis.
Good afternoon, Ms. Lewis. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Lewis, you've been charged in case 24 CR 000139E with 2 counts of theft of service. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has 29 arrest cycles in Georgia, misdemeanor conviction in 2022 for criminal trespass, and also disorderly conduct. Their last arrest was May 25th, 2022 out of Cobb County for simple battery and criminal trespass. The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 2. Nothing further to report.
Ms. Walker?
Yeah, Sean, in this case, the law enforcement officer was first dispatched to 6400 North Point Parkway, which is the Outback. Apparently, the defendant had dined and dashed at that location. She had also got a haircut at the Great Clips. I believe this is some type of plaza. The address at the Great Clips is 6410 North Point Parkway. After receiving that haircut, she refused to pay for the service as well. The state is asking for a signature bond through pretrial services, a stay away from both of those locations, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond.
Mr. Cook?
Your Honor, we have no problem with the stay away. We would certainly be looking for a signature bond at the lowest level the judge deems appropriate.
For each counter to be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial, which makes it a total of a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Stay away from the Outback and the Great Clips on North Point Parkway, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Lewis.
Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 13, Ms. Tashira Muir.
Good afternoon, Ms. Muir. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You have been charged in case 24 CR 000136A with 1 count of simple battery and 3 counts of simple battery against a police officer. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has 8 arrest cycles in Georgia. Felony conviction for theft by shoplifting in 2011, where they received first offender treatment, and it was also sealed in 2011. The last arrest was June the 6th, 2023 out of Fulton for a simple battery. That case was null pros. The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 1. Nothing further to report.
Your Honor, very brief facts of the case is that the defendant punched the victim, who was an Uber driver. His name is Abul Hassan, ABULHASAN, 3 times in the face, and pulled the back of his shirt so that the front of his shirt would pull against him, against his neck, almost in a choking manner. Also, when encountered by police officers, she spat on 2 separate officers and kicked one of the officers in the lower leg. Your Honor, the recommendation from the state is a signature bond through the pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no contact with Mr. Hassan, and the completion of an anger management course. And if we can sound from Mr. Hassan in accordance with Marcy's law, that'd be greatly appreciated, as our office has not been able to get in contact with him.
Mr. Hassan is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so. Mr. Cook, any objection?
No, Your Honor, we would, for the record, we would state that our position is that the Uber driver was the aggressor. And as for the rest of it, we would certainly be fine with a signature bond at whatever level the judge deems appropriate. And a stay away, no problem with those kinds.
Okay, so for each, excuse me, for each count, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial, makes it a total of a $8,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 day anger awareness, no further contact with Mr. Hassan, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Muir.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 16, Ms. Brianna Howell.
Good afternoon, Ms. Powell. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Powell, you've been charged in case 24 CR 000119F with simple assault, family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has one arrest cycle in Georgia. Their last arrest was May the 10th, 2009, out of Cobb County for theft by shoplifting. The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR through the jail.
Your Honor, brief facts of the case, extremely brief facts, is that the defendant threw a cell phone at the victim being Holishia, Hollishia Barber. However, she missed. Our office has been able to get in contact with Ms. Barber, who advised that she and the defendant were in an intimate relationship. They lived together at the incident location, that incident location being 3671 Ramsey CL, Atlanta, Georgia, here in Fulton County, Georgia. The victim stated that the incident location is her residence and she had been allowing the defendant to stay there. She stated that the defendant was in the process of leaving and they got into an argument that escalated when she threw the phone at her. She stated that the cell phone, as I stated, did not hit her. She also stated that this has not happened before and that she is not in fear of the defendant and is okay with having contact with the defendant and is okay with the defendant returning back to the location. Given the temporal nature of the alleged crime, the state will be asking for a signature bond through the jail, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no contact, and a stay away from that location, Your Honor. And if we could sound from Ms. Barber in accordance with Marcy's law, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Ms. Barber is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so. Mr. Cook, any objection?
Judge, it's actually my case.
Oh, Mr. Haddad, hi, good afternoon. Good to see you.
You can't get rid of me, Judge.
I'm not trying to. Go ahead.
So,
Good to see you.
Judge, we're fine with the recommendation of the signature bond, Judge. I've also discussed with my client the stay away possibility, and that's fine too. She's going to be living with her brother. I would just ask a one-time police escort to retrieve her belongings from the residence, Judge.
Okay, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail, no further contact with Ms. Barber, stay away from the Ramsey address. She can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Powell.
Thank you, Judge.
Welcome.
Next, Your Honor, we got position number 19, Ms. Aisha Shah.
Good afternoon, Ms. Shaw. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Shaw, you've been charged in case 24 CR 000126E with battery, family violence, and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has a total of 3 arrest cycles out of Tennessee, a felony conviction in 2021 for device fraud. Their last arrest was December 21 of 2021 out of Tennessee for device fraud. The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 1. Nothing further to report.
Your Honor, facts of the case is that the victim stated that he arrived at his home to find the defendant at his home. He stated that he and the defendant had broken up 2 weeks prior. However, she was moving out but still had items inside the home. The victim stated that they started arguing over him being accused of cheating with another woman. The victim stated that things escalated when she threw things at him. He stated that she picked up a candle lantern up from upstairs and hit him in the head multiple times with it. He also stated that he had to lock himself in the bathroom and call police to, I guess, stop the incident from unfolding. When police arrived, they noticed that there was blood stains all throughout the house and in the stairway, to include the carpet. They also noticed 2 lanterns that were shattered on the table upstairs to corroborate the victim's story. The incident location is 5626 Wine Creek, W-Y-N Creek, Circle in Atlanta, Georgia, and Fulton County, Georgia. The request from the state, Your Honor, is, given the nature of the crime and the use of the object, is a $1,000 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no contact with the victim. The victim in this case is Ezra Maddox. In correction, it's a $1,500 surety bond, $1,000 on the battery, and $500 on the criminal trespass. A stay away from that incident location and the completion of the family violence intervention program. And if we can sound for Mr. Maddox at this time, as our office has not been able to get in contact with him, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Mr. Maddox is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so. Mr. Haddad?
Thank you, Judge. Judge, on behalf of my client, I would, she's 31 years of age, Judge. She's currently in school trying to get her a degree or trade, really, for ultrasound tech. We're okay, Judge, with the stay away. I would just, in light of my client's age, she's 31, I would ask the court to consider a UJR through the jail, Judge. A stay away is fine. And frankly, I'm a little bit hesitant with a family violence intervention program at this stage. I understand that at the time if there's a conviction, that's a different setup. But I just simply ask the court to allow her to be released on a signature bond with a stay away. And if there is a stay away, Judge, a one-time opportunity to retrieve the belongings from that resident, Judge.
Okay, for the battery family violence, a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the criminal trespass, a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Mr. Maddox, stay away from the Wynn Creek address. She can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Shaw. Welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, Your Honor, we got position number 20, Ms. Patricia Sullivan.
Good afternoon, Ms. Sullivan. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Sullivan, you've been charged in case 24 CR 000128C with simple battery, criminal trespass, and damage to property and theft of service. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has a total of 21 arrest cycles with arrests out of Georgia and New Jersey. 1 felony conviction outside of the 10-year mark. They have a 2022 theft by shoplifting felony conviction, a 2023 theft of services misdemeanor conviction. That was their last arrest out of Fulton County, which was May the 12th of 2023. And the recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 3. Nothing further.
Your Honor, brief facts of the case is that Miss Sullivan took herself out to dinner, I'm assuming, to Benihana's located at 2143 Peachtree Road, Atlanta, Georgia. She ordered the deluxe treat and 3 alcoholic beverages. And when the bill came, she attempted to charge it on a card, but it got declined. Eventually, she became irate and began breaking dishes and glassware. And I guess when detained by the officer there, at some point she spit on him and gave struggle and pushed him as well. The recommendation from the state, Your Honor, is we have not been able to get in contact with the officer. I'm sorry, we have been able to get in contact with the security guard. He confirmed the events in the warrant. He stated that the defendant has since been criminally trespassed from the location and cannot return. He also does not wish to have contact with her. He unfortunately cannot be on today, but if we can sound for him, and his name is Robert Smith, at the conclusion of the state's request. But the state will be requesting a signature bond through the pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, a stay away from that Benihana, and to have no contact with Mr. Smith.
If Mr. Robert Smith is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. Haddad?
Judge, with respect to the request, the court to follow the recommendation suggested as far as the bond.
Okay, for the simple battery, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Criminal trespass is a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Theft of services, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. That's a total of a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. 1-day anger awareness. No further contact with Robert Smith. Stay away from the Benihanas on Peachtree Road, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Sullivan.
Thank you, Judge.
Welcome.
Your Honor, before we go forward to the mails, did we get a Vietnamese interpreter?
Yes, my name is Von Morosic. Let me show my face. Hi, Judge.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you.
How are you?
Judge, I've not had an opportunity to speak to the client.
Okay, I could put you in a breakout room, Mr. Haddad, if
Yeah, we're just gonna wait till I get another officer in the courtroom, and
okay.
we'll bring Mr. Kwong, and we can put them in a breakout room then, Your Honor.
Okay, just let me know when you're ready. And Madam Interpreter, thank you for being here, and we'll be with you as soon as we can.
Yes, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Next is gonna be position number 9, Mr. Taiwan Jackson.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jackson. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. You've been charged in case 24CR000134H with criminal trespass. Is there a history?
This defendant has 7 arrest cycles in Georgia. Their last arrest was November the 22nd, 2023 out of Fulton County for a probation violation. They have a misdemeanor conviction for a CWAC charge, and they're on probation. That number is 22CR006122C. There also appears to be a hold out of Folkestone, Georgia. And the recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 2. Nothing further to report.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement arrested the defendant for entering to a restricted area at the Westlake MARTA station. At the time of his arrest, there was an active MARTA suspension. The state is seeking a signature bond through the jail and a stay away from all MARTA.
Any objection to any of that, Ms. Atai?
No objection, Your Honor.
It'll be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail, abide by any active MARTA suspensions, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome, sir.
Sorry, Your Honor, what was that bond amount? I was getting the interpreter.
Okay, no, you're fine. A $2,000 signature bond through the jail.
Thank you. Next is gonna be position number 8, Mr. Derek Hoffman.
Good evening, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hoffman. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Hoffman, you've been charged in case 24CR000133Y with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has a total of 8 arrest cycles in Georgia. Their last arrest was March 25th, 2023 out of Fulton County for battery family violence. That case is open. The case number is 23CR001828Y. They're also being supervised by pretrial on that, so we'll be surrendering that bond. Nothing further.
Yes, Your Honor. In the case that he's out on pretrial for, you were the judge that gave him that pretrial bond. It was a $5,000 signature bond. And a condition of that bond was to stay away from the same exact incident location that we're handling in today's case. That location is 3660 Penny Lane. Law enforcement was dispatched due to a fight call where they met with the victim, Miss Morgan Hutchins. She advised that her and the defendant were in a verbal disagreement, at which time he hit her with a piece of workout equipment and pushed her down the stairs. The state is seeking a $3,000 surety bond, a no contact with the victim, Ms. Morgan Hutchins. We are asking that he's required to take a FFIP course and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And of course, we would sign for the victim, Ms. Morgan Hutchins.
And did he have a stay away or a no further contact in the last case that I had?
So it was a different victim in the last case, same location, and there was a stay away from the incident location. So he was not supposed to be at this location.
Okay.
Stay away.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Walker. Mr. Ty?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 28 years old. He does deny the allegations in the warrant. He is recommended UJR level 2. So I would request a signature bond through pretrial services level 2.
Let's see. If Miss Morgan Hutchins is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. I gave him an opportunity the last time to have a signature bond. I won't do the same. This time it will be a $3,000 good bond, no further contact with Morgan Hutchins, stay away from the Penny Lane address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Hoffman.
Thank you.
Your Honor, courtroom 3 is ready for the breakout.
Okay, so let's see, Madam Interpreter and Mr. Haddad, we'll put all of you all into the breakout room now.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, and if we can just take cases that are not Mr. Haddad's cases while he's gone.
That is correct. And this
Okay.
is position number 6, Mr. Ian Hall. Hello, Your Honor.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Hall. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Hall, you've been charged in case 24CR000129C with simple battery, disorderly conduct, and public drunk. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has 2 arrest cycles with arrests out of Arizona and Kentucky. Their last arrest was February 14th, 2015, out of Paducah, Kentucky, for operating a motor vehicle while under the influence, no registration and no insurance. The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 1. Nothing further to report.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to the Sandtown Pub located at 5819 Campbellton Road due to a fight call where they met with the victim, Miss Amber Jones. She advised that the defendant was asleep in the bathroom. At that location, she asked if he needed help. He did come awake and become irate. He pushed her several times and caused the scene. The state is asking for a signature bond through pretrial services, a 2-day anger awareness, an alcohol and drug evaluation, a stay away from the incident location, no contact with the victim, Miss Amber Jones, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And I'm not sure if Miss Jones is on the line, but we would sound for her.
Ms. Jones is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so.
Good morning. Well, good afternoon, Your Honor. I'm here.
Afternoon, Ms. Jones. I'll need for you, if you would like to address the court, of course you don't have to, but if you would like to address the court, I'll need for you to activate your camera for me and I'll have to swear you in.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Is it on? I'm sorry.
No, you're... Okay, there you go. Now you have to unmute yourself for me.
Can't,
All right.
okay, now?
Okay, yes.
Okay,
now
I'm
raise-
sorry. I'm
No,
sorry.
you're fine. You're fine, Ms. Jones. Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can put your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
Yes, sir. So I have the whole incident on camera, on several cameras. While the incident was going on, the gentleman was stating, I was on the phone with 911 on one phone and was recording him with another phone. So the whole incident is on camera. I don't know what I'm sorry, I don't know if anybody needs it or anything, but I just don't want him back at my store anymore.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Jones. We appreciate you being here this afternoon.
Thank you.
Ms. Atai?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 30 years old. He is in Georgia for business until the end of February. He works for an IT security company. He's a resident of Kentucky, but he has no problem flying back to Georgia when summoned by the court. He does deny the allegations in the warrant. I am asking for a signature on bond through the jail, although he has recommended a UJR level 1, so a signature bond through pretrial services is also fine. I do object to an alcohol and drug evaluation, and due to the lack of history, that was almost 10 years ago, the other arrest. And I also object to the 2-day anger awareness.
Okay. For the simple battery, there'll be a $2,000 signature bond. For the disorderly conduct, $1,000 signature bond through all of these are through pretrial. Public drunk, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial, makes for a total of a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Miss Amber Jones, stay away from the Sandtown Pub on Campbellton Road, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Welcome.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 5, Mr. Santino Evans. Okay, second or third row.
Keep going, y'all.
Good afternoon, Mr. Evans. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're doing by video. Is it okay for us to do this by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Evans, you've been charged in case 24 CR 000130J with expired or no driver's or no license plate or decal, failure to maintain insurance, fleeing or attempting to elude a police officer, failure to obey a stop sign, and attempting to misrepresent a tag. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has 19 arrest cycles with arrests out of Georgia and South Carolina. Felony conviction in 2016 for possession of cocaine. There is an open case in Fulton County for terroristic threats and acts. That case number is 23 SC 189045. And that was their last arrest, which was December 23rd, 2022. The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 3. Nothing further to report.
Yes, Sharon, in this case, the state is just seeking a $500 surety bond on each count, totaling to be a $2,500 surety bond. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol while on bond, and of course, no driving without a valid license.
It's a tie.
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 49 years old. He is the father of 7 children, including several minor children. He is not working because he's disabled due to a severe health condition. He has blood clots that are traveled from his legs now in his lungs, and he does need surgery for that. He has lived in Georgia all his life. He has strong ties to the community. He volunteers at his church and regularly speaks at Mays High School. This incident occurred in August of 2023. He does deny the allegations and states that he was not with the vehicle on the date of the incident. I would ask, he's recommended a UJR level 3, so I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial services at whatever level Your Honor sees fit. Nothing further.
Okay, it's going to be $1,000 signature bond through the jail on each charge, makes it a total of a $5,000 signature bond through the jail. No driving without a valid license, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Evans.
17 is Nick
Okay, and this is position 17, Ms. Kwan. So, Madam Interpreter, if you can raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that you will translate from English to Vietnamese and Vietnamese to English to the best of your ability?
I do.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Kwong. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Ok, chào ông Quang nhé. Tôi là thẩm phán Morrow. Đây là hôm nay là cái lịch cáo buộc của cấp tốc của tòa án trong tiểu bang này. Mình có đồng ý là mình làm cái này qua cái video không? Yes.
You've been charged with reckless driving.
Mình có tội là sorry judge.
No, go ahead. Reckless driving.
Mình có tội là lái ở cẩu thả, không có bất thường nhé.
Driving under the influence of alcohol.
Lái dưới ảnh hưởng có rượu.
Failure to yield right of way.
Không có nhường cái đường người ta đi trước.
Possession of open alcohol container.
Sở hữu một cái lon bia hay là một con rượu gì đó mà đã mở rồi.
Is there a history, Miss Hardy?
Cô Hardy, bây giờ người ta có lịch sử gì không?
This defendant has one arrest cycle in Georgia.
Một cái người bị can này có một lần trước đây ở Georgia.
Their last arrest was December 25th, 2020.
Cái lần cuối cùng mà bị bắt là tháng 12, 25, 2020.
Out of Clayton County for simple battery.
Ở một cái quận Clayton County về cái tội đánh đập đơn giản.
The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR through the jail.
Giới thiệu là người đi qua ngoài tù.
Your Honor, very brief facts is that the defendant failed to yield at an intersection while almost striking the officer's vehicle with his vehicle.
Nói ngắn là không có nhường thì người sắp sửa là giống như là sắp đâm vào cái xe của cảnh sát.
The defendant admitted to consuming alcohol and having open containers while operating his motor vehicle.
Bị can có thú nhận là uống rượu với lại có một cái lon bia hay là lon rượu đã mở ra.
Driving history reveals a conviction in 2019 for speeding.
Có một lần năm 2019 thì bị cái tội lái quá tốc độ.
A conviction in 2020 for speeding.
2020 cũng bị một cái tội nữa quá tốc độ.
And a conviction in 2022 for following too closely.
Mà 2022 thì có tội là đi sát cái xe kia trước quá.
Recommendation from the state is a signature bond through the pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no driving, and the completion of a DDS course.
Ok, thì chúng tôi khẳng định giới thiệu là không có được lái xe mà không có bằng lái xe, được cái bond là không có phải ký đó, là không có phải trả tiền đó, không có được giữ sự vũ khí.
Nothing further from the state to add, Your Honor.
Không còn nói gì thêm nữa hết.
Sir Dodd.
Judge, we'll just ask the court to accept and follow the recommendations from the bond judge.
Tôi cũng xin là nhận cái lời đề nghị của ông kia đưa ra.
Let's see, for the reckless driving, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial.
Cái tội mà lái bất cẩn á, thì là 1.000 đồng mà đi ra trước mặt tòa trước xét xử.
DUI is a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial.
DUI á, thì là 2.000 tiền tại ngoại.
Failure to yield, $500 signature bond through pretrial.
500 đồng tiền phạt là cái tội không có nhường.
Possession of open alcohol container, $500 signature bond through pretrial.
500 đồng tiền về cái tội là có mấy cái lon bia đã mở ra rồi.
Makes for a total of a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1.
Tổng cộng là 4.000 đồng tiền tại ngoại về cái mức độ 1 này.
No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
trong cái thời gian đi ra ngoài thì không có được uống rượu hay là thuốc men xì ke ma túy hay là sở hữu súng đạn gì hết.
Good luck to you, sir.
Ok, chúc anh được may mắn nha.
Okay, thank you, Madam Interpreter. We appreciate your help this afternoon.
Yes, Judge. Everybody have a happy New Year. Thank
You
you.
also, thank you. Okay, courtroom 2, whenever you're ready.
This is going to be position number 15, Mr. Quinlan Potter, 15.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Potter. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Potter, you've been charged in case 24 CR 000120D with criminal trespass and possession and use of drug-related objects. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant is a multi-state offender with arrests out of Georgia, Louisiana, and Tennessee. Misdemeanor conviction in 2021 for simple assault and obstruction. 2022 criminal trespass and obstruction. 2023 criminal trespass. Their last arrest was November 6, 2023 out of Fulton County for criminal trespass. The case says bound over to state court and the number is 23 MAGC 06544. The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 2. Nothing further to report.
Your Honor, brief facts of the case is that officer himself witnessed the store manager telling the defendant that they could no longer be allowed on the property or inside the store. The officer also told the defendant that he could no longer be allowed in the property or inside the store. The defendant arrived at the Circle K gas station located at 111 Boulevard Northeast in Atlanta, Georgia on January 6, 2024. The officer arrived, to find the defendant back on the property and verbally arguing with the store employee. Also through camera footage, the defendant could be seen blocking a customer from leaving inside the store. The recommendation from the state is a signature bond through the pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and a stay away from that Circle K gas station. Nothing further to add at this time.
Mr. Cook?
We have no objection to the state's recommendation.
Okay, for each charge, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. So that makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Stay away from the Circle K on Boulevard and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Potter.
You finished? Yes, sir. Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 12, Mr. McCullough. Sit down. How you doing, sir?
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. McCallum. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 24 CR 000140G with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has 12 arrest cycles with arrests out of Georgia and Florida. A felony conviction in 2020 for a CWAC charge. Misdemeanor conviction in 2019 for simple assault, disorderly conduct. Their last arrest was December the 3rd, 2019 out of Lake County, Florida for that CWAC charge. The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 3. Nothing further to report.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 2700 Camp Creek Parkway, where they met with the victim, Ms. Tyquisha Belcher. She advised that the defendant is her brother. They were engaged in a verbal disagreement, at which time he punched her several times in the face. We have had contact with the victim. She stated that her eye is still swollen shut and she cannot see, and she actually passed out during this attack. The state is asking for a $1,500 surety bond, no contact with the victim, a stay away from the incident location, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while on bond, and we would sign for the victim, Ms. Belcher.
Ms. Belcher is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. Cook?
Your Honor, we have no objection to the stay away. He can stay away from the incident location, and from the victim, we would be asking for a signature bond at whatever level the court deems appropriate.
It's going to be $1,000 good bond, no further contact with Ms. Belcher, stay away from the Camp Creek Parkway address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. McCallum.
Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 10, Mr. Caroma.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Mr. Caroma. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Caroma, you've been charged in case 24 CR 000135Y with battery. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has 2 arrest cycles in Georgia. There was a misdemeanor conviction in 2005 for simple battery family violence. Their last arrest was March the 10th, 2006, out of Fulton for reproduction of recorded material. The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 1. Nothing further to report.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to the Motel 6 located at 311 Cortlandt Street due to a fight call. When they met with the victim, Mr. Karam Yamin, he reported that he and the defendant's niece was coming down the stairwell. At that time, he was spotted by the defendant. The defendant drug him out of the motel and slapped him several times, slapping his glasses off of his face. The state is asking for a signature bond through pretrial services, a stay away from that incident location, no contact with Mr. Yamin, a 2-day anger awareness course, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And we will sign for the victim, Mr. Karam Yamin.
If Mr. Yamin is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Yes, Mr. Cook.
Yes, we would have no objection to the recommendation except to the 2-day anger awareness program. We would like to see that no more than 1 day, if at all.
Okay, it's going to be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Mr. Yamin. Stay away from the Motel 6 on Cortlandt Street, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Next is going to be position number 18, Mr. Robert Reed.
Good afternoon, Mr. Reed. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Reed, you've been charged in case 24 CR 000124F with simple battery family violence. Is there a history?
This defendant has 17 arrest cycles in Georgia. Felony conviction in 2017 for possession of cocaine with intent. They received first offender treatment and it was sealed in 2017. The last arrest was March 8th, 2017 out of APD for possession of cocaine with intent. Recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 1. Nothing further to report.
Your Honor, facts of the case is that on January 1st, 2024, the officer responded to a person drunk/domestic dispute call at the incident location of 1546 Belmont Avenue Southwest in Atlanta, Georgia, and Fulton County, Georgia. The officer met with the victim, Ayanna, A-Y-A-N-N-A, Langston, L-A-N-G-S-T-O-N, who stated that she was inside the residence doing her friend's hair when her father, the defendant, came inside the residence, pushing open the front door aggressively. She advised that he appeared to be intoxicated and asked her several times if she had another person inside of his mother's home. He became very abusive and continued to use profane language, reportedly jacked his daughter up by her shirt while shouting. The defendant slapped the victim so hard that she stated that the left side of her face was hurting and that the left side of her face was still ringing at the time that the officers arrived. The incident was witnessed by the friend, Miss Tylia Strickland. The defendant made another attempt to slap the victim, but at that time, mistakenly missed and struck his sister. The defendant himself threatened to slap the victim 50 times if needed be, but only reported striking her twice. Our office has been able to get in contact with the victim, who again advised that she's the daughter of the defendant. They do not live together. She confirmed the events in the warrant. She states that the defendant was intoxicated at the time of the event and needs help with his drinking. She stated that that had never happened before. However, she states that she would like no contact with the defendant since this she has had no contact with the defendant since this incident. She stated that she wants no contact and she would like for the defendant to stay away at least until she's able to leave the residence. I do believe that she may be on the call, so if we can sound from Ms. Langston at the conclusion of the state's request, that'd be greatly appreciated. Given the age of the history and the type of history, the request from the state is a signature bond through the pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no contact with the victim, a stay away from that location, and the completion of an anger management course. Nothing further to add from the state at this time.
If Ms. Ayanna Langston is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Ms. Langston, you're gonna have to activate your camera for me, and I'm gonna have to swear you in if you'd like to speak to the court, okay? All right, there you go. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down, ma'am. What would you like to tell me? And you're gonna have to don't walk around. You need to stay stationary.
Okay. I want to tell you that it was an unfortunate situation that when I got out of hand. My dad is a good person. I would hate to see him in jail. It was a really, really unfortunate situation. I hate that it went this far. He's a good guy. He got kids to take care of, and it's just an unfortunate situation that I wish that it shouldn't. I wish it never happened. I wish nothing bad on my dad. He's a really good dad. He's a good guy. I would hate for any of this to go any further. That's all I
Okay.
got.
Now, do you live at the Belmont Avenue address?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and he lives someplace else?
Yeah, he stayed down the street.
Okay, all right. Thank you for being here this afternoon, ma'am. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mr. Haddad, is this your case?
It is, Judge. We're in agreement as far as the recommendation of the signature bond, Judge. I've discussed with my client the possibility of a stay away. He does not live there, and whatever the court feels deems appropriate. I did want to say that Mr. Reed technically does not qualify for the Service Public Defender's Office, but for experience purposes, we're going to represent him. Also instructed him that once he gets out, or if he gets out, make sure that employ an attorney to assist him in this case.
Okay. It will be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Langston, stay away from the Belmont Avenue address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Reed.
Next, Your Honor, we're going to go to position 21, Mr. Terrell Thomas.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good afternoon, Mr. Thomas. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Thomas, you've been charged in case 24 CR 0000127C with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has 4 arrest cycles in Georgia. Their last arrest was July the 25th, 2019 out of Carroll County for criminal trespass family violence. The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 1. Nothing further to report.
Your Honor, not so brief facts, but on January 6, 2023, the officer responded to a dispute call at that 446 Love Ridge Drive Southwest, Atlanta, Georgia, and Fulton County, Georgia location. The officer spoke with the victim, Kim Toria, Kimtoria, Garrett, Garret, who stated that she arrived at the home, which is the incident location, on January 6, 2024. The victim stated that she attempted to get inside the home, but they refused to let her in. The defendant refused to let her in. The victim stated that she sat outside the home on the porch for hours. for someone to let her into the home. According to the victim, the defendant came outside and told her to get off the property. The victim stated that she refused, and that's when the defendant produced a water hose and began spraying her with the water hose. The victim stated that she began to run away from the defendant, and he followed her. And when he eventually caught up to her, he struck her with a closed fist to the face several times. When the officers arrived, the victim had bruising to the right side of her face, and so they observed that. The initial 911 caller, who just so happened to be the neighbor across the street, stated and essentially corroborated the whole story, that she sat outside for hours. That the defendant ran after her with a hose, and when he caught up with her, began striking her. A separate neighbor, Miss Jackson, corroborated the whole story, that a commotion happened. They looked out their window, saw him spraying her, running after her, and striking her. The officer was actually able to speak with the defendant, and the defendant himself agreed or admitted to having struck her. And then a neighbor immediately inside the home stated the exact same thing as the other neighbors, which was basically that he heard arguing. He came outside, he witnessed the suspect punching the victim multiple times with a closed fist. He stated that he did not see the victim hit the suspect. But Mr. Bryan also stated that both of them live at the residence. They've been living there for a few years. The victim was told that she was not allowed to be in the rooming home by a third party. However, she was never properly or lawfully evicted. Our office has not been able to get in contact with the victim, so if we can sound for her at the conclusion of the state's request, that'd be greatly appreciated. But the recommendation from the state is a signature bond through the pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no contact with the victim, for the defendant to stay away from that incident location given the escalation in the violence, and the completion of an anger management course. Nothing further to add from the state at this time.
Ms. Garrett is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. Haddad.
Thank you, Judge. I would ask the court to follow the recommendation as far as a UJR bond. I did inform my client that this is a boarding house. He says that it's actually owned by his brother, but it's neither here nor there until she gets legally evicted, Judge. I guess as long as she's there. But he understands, he's okay with the stay away, or just ask for one trip back to retrieve his belongings. If she is moved, obviously that becomes smooth. But at this point, as far as I know, she still lives in that boarding house.
Okay, it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Garrett. Stay away from the Love Ridge Drive address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement. If Ms. Garrett is not at the rooming house, he can stay there. If Ms. Garrett is still residing at the rooming house, he'll have to get his belongings and find a different location to stay. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Thomas.
Yes, sir. Next, we're going to go to position number 22, Mr. Eddie Trice. Good evening, y'all.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Trice. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you. Mr. Trice, you've been charged in case 24 CR 000131B with driving under the influence of alcohol, reckless driving, and speeding. Is there a history?
This defendant has 15 arrest cycles in Georgia. There was a felony conviction in 2005 for criminal damage to property and possession of controlled substance with intent. They received first offender treatment and it was sealed in 2017. And then there was a forgery and robbery felony conviction in 2009. Their last arrest was May the 12th, 2020 out of Fulton County for unauthorized possession of a weapon by inmate. They took a no-low plea on that. The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 3. Nothing further to report.
Your Honor, brief facts of the case is that the defendant was traveling on I-20 westbound, passing Holmes Drive, going at a rate of 100 miles per hour. The posted speed limit for that area, I believe, was 60 miles per hour. But once the officer approached the driver, placed him in handcuffs, he smelled the strong odor of alcohol coming from inside of the vehicle. The driver was asked if he had anything to drink, to which he responded no. After getting breathalyzed, the sample came back as 0.158, which is almost double the 0.08 legal limit. The driver was told that he was being charged with DUI. Your Honor, this is not the defendant's first rodeo with either charge. He has a 2017 speeding conviction, and even though it's outside of the 10-year window, he has a 1999 DUI conviction as well. Your Honor, the recommendation from the state is a signature bond through the pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no driving, and the completion of a DDS course. Nothing further to add from the state at this time.
God,
Thank you, Judge. I would just ask the court to allow my client to be released on a UJR signature bond. Judge.
okay, for the DUI, there'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. For the reckless, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial. For the speeding, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial. These will all be level 1. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Trice.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position 23, Mr. Harold Walker.
Good afternoon, Mr. Walker. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Morrow.
Thank you. You also, Mr. Walker, good afternoon. You've been charged in case 24 CR 000137Y with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has 10 arrest cycles in Georgia. Their last arrest was October the 21st, 2023 out of Fulton County for simple battery. That case is still open. 23 CR 00584Y. And then there's also a simple, just regular battery. And that one is the same case number ending with 5Y. There's also a 22 CR 000719Y simple battery open case. The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 3. Nothing further to report.
Your Honor, the facts of this case are as such that on January 6, 2024, the officers responded to a dispute call at the 3215 Crushman Circle location in Atlanta, Georgia, and Fulton County, Georgia. The officer spoke with the victim, Miss Tara Martin, name will become extremely relevant, who advised that she was attacked by the defendant. She advised that the defendant was upset, and so he hit her in the head with his phone. She showed the officer where he had hit her, and the officer observed a bump in that location. She also advised that he grabbed her face aggressively. The defendant himself advised that he was upset and he put the phone to her face. He admitted to grabbing her face. Our office has been able to get in contact with the victim in this case. She states that they are in a relationship. They live together at the incident location. They share no kids. She states that she called the police so that the defendant would leave. She states that this has happened before and they have a previous open case, that 22 CR 00719Y. The defendant was ordered to have no contact with the victim in that case. I do believe that the victim may be on the call, but I just want to point out and draw attention to a rather extensive history. He actually has 4 current open cases. And to walk you through them, one is simple battery family violence out of Fulton County, 22 CR 000719Y. Same victim here, Miss Martin. Your Honor gave a $2,000 surety bond in that case. And you instructed him to stay away and to have no contact with the victim. Obviously, he's had contact subsequent. A case in 2022, December 2nd, 2022. It's a simple battery family violence. Also out of Fulton, 23 CR 006584Y, same victim. Your Honor gave a $2,000 surety bond. You also instructed him to have no contact and stay away. A battery family violence arrest, which is still open, 23 CR 00655Y that we heard of. That was January 29th. 2023, not even 1 year to the day. Same victim, Your Honor gave a $3,000 surety bond and also instructed him to stay away. He also has an open case in December 20th, 2022 for reckless conduct to which he's alleged to have discharged a firearm. And I'd also like to point out that there's an actual conviction in 2019 for battery family violence. However, that's a different victim. So our office is seeking to submit this for review, felony review. The recommendation from the state, just because I don't think that he's adhering, and I just really seriously fear for the victim and the public to a certain degree, is a $10,000 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, absolutely no contact with this four-time victim at this point. Stay away from that incident location and the completion of a family violence intervention program. And if we can please sound for Ms. Martin in accordance with Marcy's law, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Let's see if Ms. Martin's on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so. Mr. Haddad.
Judge, thank you. First of all, Mr. Walker does not qualify for the services of the public defender's office based on the income that he reported to me. According to Odyssey, he's been represented. He has a private attorney, and he has Ms. McLeod representing him on some cases. I don't know. My point is, I don't know if there's a conflict with those cases, which is why we're not involved in those trial cases. I've discussed the issue of a stay away judge. Of course, I was not aware of the history until now. It goes without saying, a stay away. Unfortunately, the court has already gone through this with Mr. Walker. Nonetheless, Judge, in light of the circumstances, I would ask the court to consider a $4,000 regular bond with a stay away. That would be the request of that judge.
Mr. Haddad, before I make my bond announcement, your client has his hand up. I want to give you the opportunity to speak with him if necessary. Courtroom 2, can you unmute or advise him? Mr. Walker, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. Mr. Haddad is here speaking on your behalf. If you need for him to let me know something, I'm happy to give you the opportunity to speak with him. Mr. Haddad, would you like to address him?
Mr. Walker, we're not here to talk about the facts. I'm not really sure if that's what you want to discuss. But I'm basically asking for as low of a bond as possible. You need to speak to me privately. Just don't talk about your case if you can.
No, I'm not going to talk about my case. I was talking about my history, how he pronounced my history, saying that I was arrested on October 23rd, and that I came in on a new charge. I didn't come in on a new charge. I was coming in on the FTA, and they ran both of them together. That previous for the year of 2020. There wasn't no new charge. And Miss Martin, she's on the phone listed as iPhone 1. iPhone. She just had her camera on, and then I was just trying to, because the way I put my history out, I understand that I've been coming in a simple battery. I don't run from the officer. I don't argue with the officer. I have every incident on chest cam, on the video cam. Now, I'm not here saying that I'm not guilty. I was just saying the way in my history, I wouldn't even been here to jail today, because Miss Martin on the iPhone, I wouldn't be here on the jail. Only way I'm here because I stayed at the house. And
okay, all right, Mr. Walker, I don't want you saying anything else. I don't want you to say anything that could get you into more trouble than what you're in. And if Ms. Walker is on the line, she was given the opportunity to address the court, and she chose not to. So, but what I want to say, if she's on the line and you're here, I've seen you. This is my 4th time seeing you now, and each time I've given you a bond, a stay away, and a no further contact. So it doesn't seem like, regardless of if you were over there, you were in violation of my order. You just can't keep. You all apparently keep coming back. So I'm going to take the recommendation of the state on this in this matter. It's going to be a $10,000 good bond, no further contact with Ms. Martin, stay away from the Crushman address, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. You're not supposed to be there, so I'm not going to give you a one-time escort to go pick anything up. because you're not supposed to be there in the first place. Let's see, and if we can make note, if you don't get out, Mr. Walker, there's the state all-purpose calendar on January 23rd. If we can see if, I'm not sure what will happen with this charge, but if we can see if we can get his charges all put together and handle on that date if he's not out. Let's see.
I'm
January.
showing 3 companion cases, so I'll put them all on there.
Okay, and I'm on the SAP calendar that day, so if you don't get out, Mr. Walker, I'm gonna see you back myself on January 23rd, and we'll address all the cases that you have pending.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome, Mr. Dyke. Now, I don't want you to say anything more, Mr. Walker. I've made my decision, so I'll see you back on the 23rd possibly. Who do we have next?
Your Honor, this is Mr. Brooks. You heard what he said?
Okay, so this is Mr. Brooks. That's on the jail iPhone.
One thing, Your Honor. Go ahead, Mr. Brooks. That's right. He said he has the right to refuse the judge.
Okay. Whose case is this?
He wanted to go pro se, Your Honor. He didn't speak to anyone.
It's position 2, Xavier Brooks, Judge.
Oh, okay, thank you. Well, if you can hear me, Mr. Brooks, I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is your first appearance. You've been charged in case 24 CR 000110C with 2 counts of battery. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has a total of 10 arrest cycles with arrests out of Georgia and Florida. A misdemeanor conviction in 2019 for battery, 2023 resisting officer. The last arrest was August 29th, 2023 out of Jacksonville, Florida for trespassing and resisting officer. There also appears to be a hold out of Savannah for an FTA and Noonan for an FTA. The recommendation from pretrial is a UJR level 4. Nothing further to report.
Mr. Walker?
In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to the Kroger located at 2452 Marasco Way, where they spoke with the security guard who advised that actually it was 2 security guards. The first one's name is Timothy McCall. The second one's name is Zachary Scott. They advised that the defendant was at the location attempting to shoplift. They removed the merchandise from the defendant. At that time, he did become physical with both security guards, striking them with a shopping cart and also punching one of the security guards. The state is asking for a $1,000 surety bond on each count, totaling to a $2,000 surety, a stay away from the Kroger, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while on bond, and no contact with both victims. And that's now from Mr. McCall and Mr. Scott, in case if they're on the line.
Mr. McCall, Mr. Scott, either on the line and wish to address the court, now is your opportunity. Okay, I'll accept the recommendation, Mr. Walker. $1,000 good bond on each charge makes for a $2,000 good bond. Stay away from the Kroger on Marasco Way. No further contact with Mr. Scott and Mr. McCall, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. All right, we're done with Mr. Brooks. Thank you.
President Norris.
Okay, that's everybody?
I don't have anybody else in the courtroom. I'm scrolling.
Okay.
No, Your Honor, I have a couple that I interviewed. Travis, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying that's all that we have on the calendar. Who
We had
else
2
did you
felony
interview?
transfers, and I NOD the case. So
Travis Nelson and Johnny Lawrence.
Nelson was a felony transfer. Johnny Lawrence, let me check. Johnny Lawrence was an NOD. Did that answer your question?
I guess I interviewed him, so I guess he was put NOD later.
Yeah, I just
Okay.
missed it. And then Nelson was a felony transfer.
Okay, thank you. That's fine, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Bridgewater, whenever you're ready.
Okay, once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is January the 23rd. Position number 1 is being reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position number 2 is going to that SAP calendar with a total $2,000 good bond. 3, reset further notice $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 4 is reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through pretrial. 5, reset further notice with a total $5,000 SOB through the jail. 6, reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through pretrial. 7, reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through pretrial. 8 is going to the SAP calendar with a $3,000 good bond. 9, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. 10, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 11, reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 12 is going to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. 13, reset further notice with a total $8,000 SOB through pretrial. 14, reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through the jail. 15, reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 16, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. 17, reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through pretrial. 18, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 19, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 20 is reset further notice with a $4,000 total SOB through pretrial. 21, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 22, reset further notice with a total $5,000 SOB through pretrial. And 23 is going to the SAP calendar with a $10,000 good bond. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise?
Okay, if not, thank you all very much. I will see some of you tomorrow, I guess.
Oh, okay, good. All
Have a
right.
good afternoon.
All right, bye-bye, everyone.